Do you know I was summoned to go to court for a criminal thing? Me, yeah, so. Anyway, let's break it down. So there was one time I was out for an event and I got a call from somebody from SSNIT. And for me, I assumed, he said he had a letter for me, so I assumed it was an invitation because we've been doing a bit of media coverage for them here and there. So I told him, gave him directions, he went to leave the letter. And finally, when I went home, I was given the letter. And to my surprise, this was what it looked like. Yeah. It said in the circuit court, criminal summons, section 62 of Act 30, 1960, to Amir Deborah Media and Amir Kisi Deborah, that is me, of Amir Deborah Media. The Republic versus Amir Deborah Media, blah, 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 blah. For failing to pay Social Security contributions as at September 2024, to which and the amount comes contrary to section blah, blah, blah of the National Pensions Act, blah, 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 blah. You are to appear before the above to answer charges against you. You are hereby commanded in the name of the Republic to appear in person before this court at 8 a.m. on 30th day of May, and on every adjournment of the court until the case be disposed of, issued at Accra on the 21st day of May 2026. So this was back in May. And what I found odd was the day they wanted me to appear was a Saturday. And I was also traveling to Congo on this Saturday. And so I couldn't stay for whatever the court is. So that now became my issue because I didn't want to be seen to be in some sort of contempt of the court. And realistically, I was due to go out in just a day or so. So I was confused. I contacted my accountant, but I couldn't get him because his phone was having issues. And then I eventually contacted somebody at SSNIT who was in charge of our accounts. And I explained to him that this is what I received. I took a picture of it, sent it to him. I'm like, my worry is I didn't know I was owing. I didn't get any reminders because I log on to their platform to make payments every month. And to the best of my user experience, anytime there's anything pending, they'll let you know that you owe this amount and so you have to clear it. And I've seen one particular one being recurring where they are saying on the platform that we made our contributions late on one particular month, and so there's a fee for me to pay in that regard. So it's pretty clear there, and then I see it anytime I come to make a payment. So for me, if I owe, and this is supposed to be for 2024, September 2024, and I have no recollection that I owe nothing or there was no reminder, and suddenly I'm to appear before court. So I called this person who was like, oh, he's out of office, but he will get back to me. And then after I spoke to him, I now remember, I went through my log to find the number of the person who had submitted it. So I called this person back and I explained, how is this? And it was like, oh, well, you owe. I'm like, so how come there was no reminder? Even if I owe, how come I don't know anything? Suddenly, boom, I'm going to court. So back and forth, eventually, my guy, the one who has now gets back to the office and gets to it and comes back to say that, yes, there was a month where we attempted to pay, I think, via Momo or something, and it didn't work. It showed that we would have thought that it worked, but it didn't work, bottom line. And so it didn't work. But that was so many years ago, so I didn't know. But then the accountant also has a recollection of that happening, and apparently they were supposed to meet and pay it in cash or something. So at least for that, the accountant remembers, and although it was so many years ago. So now the suggestion made forth was just pay again whatever amount it was, because it looks like you had paid, you thought you had paid, you have not paid. And to cut things short, I basically paid. And so therefore, now they withdrew this court case against me. That's all well and good. But this month, or a few days ago, the accountant comes back to me and says it seems there's another month where we had made payment, but according to their system, SSNIT system, we haven't paid. And this is supposed to be October 2025, which is a little bit more recent. So, and these ones I knew I've made payments. And so it was like, he's going to the office and he wants to make sure I should check through the system how we paid. So because I paid through government.org, Ghana.gov, I just went there and then went through the system and then saw the receipt showing payment on the set date. And so I downloaded that receipt and gave it to the accountant, and he later on went to the office of SSNIT, and even after going there, they still insisting that it hasn't been paid, and we've showed you a receipt that shows that it's been paid from that platform, Ghana.gov. And if you use that platform, you realize that if the transaction has not been terminated, the status doesn't say okay for you to know that it's been paid. If there's an error, if it doesn't happen, it's pending and it will be pending. You know clearly they will not generate for you a receipt. So I'm like, we have the receipt showing that we've paid, and they're now still claiming that it could be that it didn't terminate between MTN and all of that. So now we have to look for the reference number of that exact transaction so they can follow up, blah, blah, blah. And this is October 2024, October 2025. It's not so far, but so the best thing now for me to do was to now go into my SMSs, trying to locate the exact transaction. I can't find it. And my worry is, why is it me, the customer, that must go through this? Your platform for payment has issued a ticket, a receipt with a number and everything, so you can track it with between the two of you, between SSNIT and the Ghana.gov, and then find out whether indeed this terminated or whatever. Because at my end, I did it, and to the best of my, I'm not now going to. Why must I now have the proof or burden of proof or whatever they call it to now come and show you that I've made this payment and all of that? And even it's not that accessible. So the issue now was to get statements. So I go to the Momo app, and it wasn't issuing statements for more than 3 months. And this is obviously more than that. So I can't even go from my end to do it. And now I don't even know whether I use Momo to pay or I use my bank card, my business bank card. I cannot also immediately just log into because the business bank app, the app from Zenith Bank doesn't work the same way for business accounts. So there's nothing like that I can, unlike my personal account where I can go check the statement or request for statement on the app and I get it. So basically now, I don't know. So they are insisting that we have to provide that reference code from Momo if it was Momo, or also if it was the bank, we have to do that. And it's just too much work, painful work. So if you guys are not ready for this digitalization, whatever it is, why are you stressing people out? And if you know me, I've probably once or twice shared how much I love the Ghana.gov platform, because it makes it very easy when you have to make these payments. And I think that the first time I tried it was when I used to pay for, I think my recent or my current passport. It was very seamless. It's linked to Momo. You have different options and you do it. But why am I the one to go through this so many months after knowing that I've clearly paid my contributions? And I mean, platforms like Express Pay, when there is, if you're making a payment to say ECG, I had a recent one, and it's not going through, they will call you. They will tell you this is the problem. and then they are intermediating between you and the other business because you are using their platform. It's not for me to now go to ECG and say, I tried using Express to Pay, it's doing this, it's doing that. So really, what's happening? So that is one thing I have to talk about. So I escaped going to court for a criminal offense, and now I'm still facing shit. Bye-bye.